So as you can see, last night I got kissed by a mosquito who found his way into my bedroom, probably through the open window, and came for me. So about the name mosquito, the word mosquito is formed from mosca and the diminutive ito, and it is therefore Spanish and Portuguese for little fly, mosca being fly and ito being a diminutive, a bit like dad, i.e. father, and E with a Y on the end. Y in English is a diminutive, so we're kind of saying little dad when we say daddy or when we say mummy. So I thought I'd wake up and do some bits and pieces about mosquitoes, because why the hell not? Last night I got kissed by a mosquito lurching through the air like he was drunk on Mojito. Kisses 3 I got from my darling Papito, my winged fly with his thirst for blood. And it got me thinking, the word mojito, where does that come from? Well, mojito comes from either the Spanish word mojado, meaning wet, or mojadito, meaning a little wet, or from the African word mojo, meaning to place a little spell, which is interesting because let's face it, the mosquito bites definitely place little spells all over your body that perhaps you can't get rid of for a little while. So yeah, you are under their spell for a good 3 or 4 days. Mosquitoes kill more humans than sharks, lions and snakes. Around 725,000 deaths per year are linked to mosquito-borne diseases like malaria, dengue fever, Zika, yellow fever. This makes them the #1 most lethal creature to humans by far. Tiny little mosquito fact: police in Finland found a dead mosquito in the car that had been stolen, and they tested the blood inside the mosquito to find the guy who had stolen the car, and they found him. So how good's that? I mean, mosquitoes doing bits after death. Genetic engineering, the Sterile Mosquito Technique. It's a real thing. This is where genetically modified mosquitoes are released to mate with wild females. Their offspring are supposed to not survive because they're genetically at odds, and this thus reduces the population. Interesting segue, the island of the undead mosquitoes. In an eerie twist of science, Brazil began genetically modifying mosquitoes designed to fly out into the wild, mate with females, and their offspring wouldn't survive, and then that would mean they would reduce disease because they would go down in number. But in 2019, scientists found evidence that those very genes had entered the mosquito population, and they survived longer than expected. Humans 0, mosquitoes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And these Franken mosquitoes, these guys are still out there. These genetically modified mosquitoes are therefore still out there, and no one really knows what the consequences will be. They could turn into massive genetically modified mosquitoes. They could turn into a real plague of the current human world. Who knows? However, yeah, I mean, it's just one of those things that we as humans thinking that was smart put out there. And it turns out when you try and play God, God's gonna get you. Only female mosquitoes bite. Well, that's a new one on me. So these weren't kisses from a papito. They were kisses from a mamacita. Mamacita mosquita. She is drawn to the flame. She is drawn to the light of your bedroom bright. Mamacita mosquita. She is drawn to the vein full of red blood, seismic and hot. I feel a poem coming on. One thing that mosquitoes definitely have in common with vampires is the fact we both love blood. When I say we, I'm talking not for me, I'm talking for my friend Porphyria, who obviously is a vampire, but certainly not me. I do not live off blood. I do like the taste of it, but definitely not drinking it on a regular basis. Yeah, so we all love blood. Mosquitoes, fleas, bed bugs, we're all the same really. Obviously I have my vampire bat as a pet. Isn't she cute? Her name is Snuggles. So yeah, she's really quite beautiful. She's so adorable and really nice to sleep with. This is my vampire bat, Snuggles. A few other fun facts. Mosquitoes have a preference for beer drinkers. So if you're on a night out on the town, definitely consider having mojitos instead. They locate victims by detecting CO2, which is supposed to be in your breath, body heat, and body odor. Yep, you might just smell tastier to them. Actually, I heard that mosquitoes are more drawn to people who emit more CO2 in their breath. Obviously, we inhale oxygen and we exhale CO2. So actually, my theory is that they could actually be drawn to more healthy people, because obviously the amount of CO2 that you're expending in your breath is probably a good sign of your general kind of metabolism in the way that your body gets rid of waste. But obviously that's not verified, and I'm sure a doctor could pick me up on that if they wanted to. It would take about 1.2 million mosquitoes to drain all the blood out of your body. It would only take one bite from me, and probably only half a bite from my late beloved grandma. So I once knew someone who was particularly sensitive to the bites of mosquitoes, and he would come out in huge welts that were red and itchy and painful. And I accidentally turned on a light in his room once, and he went completely ballistic. He went completely insane, and he was shouting and screaming down the house like there was no tomorrow. He was so angry at me that I left the place very, very sad indeed. And when I got back to mine, I wrote a poem about the experience in order to spite him, because that's the kind of villain that I am. And you can view it on my channel here if you like. I uploaded it about a year ago, but it's still pretty fresh. NB, all names and locations have been changed for security purposes. Don't forget to subscribe if you're enjoying the content. As annoying as they are, I've always kind of liked mosquitoes. They hunt you and annoy you and leave you cursing them the next day. And they make such a big impact for such an annoying little creature. And they're kind of macabre with their bloodthirsty ways. Nasty little creatures, macabre. All in all, an 8 out of 10 as far as creatures macabre go. I give them an 8 because, well, I'm cursing them today for what they did to me last night. And this reminds me of an African proverb. If you think you are too small to make a difference, you haven't spent a night with a mosquito. Mosquitoes have been around for 210 million years. So whatever they were drinking out of the T-Rex, they're drinking out of you. And let's face it, my cells in my body were probably part of a T-Rex once upon a time. No life is gone. Everything is recycled. Mosquitoes are ancient. They predate dinosaurs. Some bloodsuckers trapped in amber are said to contain dinosaur blood. And where have we heard this before? Well, it was obviously the inspiration of the 90s film Jurassic Park, where a mosquito is found in amber, which purportedly has dinosaur blood in it, and the DNA within the mosquito is drawn out and used to create dinosaurs that you can go and see at Jurassic Park. Absolutely brilliant film. However, unfortunate mythbuster here. Scientists say that it's highly, highly unlikely that people would find viable dinosaur DNA after 65 million years in a mosquito. Apparently it degrades rapidly and it wouldn't be intact. Yeah, the chance of you being able to reconstruct it would be very, very low, because it would be fragmented and completely unusable for cloning. Mosquitoes are said to even have a preference for blood type. Apparently type O is their favourite. Pregnant women with higher body heat obviously attract more mosquitoes. And that's something to consider there. A pregnant woman will obviously have herself in the mix, but then she'll also have a child in her body, which would have potentially a different blood type. So yeah, it could be like a bit of a pick and mix for the mosquito that is drawn to the pregnant woman. Which blood type shall I feast on today? Kind of thing. I don't know. It could happen. So yeah, I hope you're not too itchy today. The summertime is the absolute worst for it. They like the heat and the moisture, and obviously the tons of flesh on show. So I hope you enjoyed this little video about mosquitoes. Say hello to your multi-toothed friend the next time they come to visit you. Be friendly, as you know, they're only kisses, right?